It's Nathan.E.El, and this is Sermon in Seconds, where we do ministry in minutes. So, I told you all that I was going to be trying to live my life closer to the way that the Most High would want me to live. Try to live by the example that was given in the Bible. And I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to do, and what I mean is I haven't been really giving God the time that I'm supposed to be giving Him. I'll stop and pray. Not to say when it's convenient, but I'll stop and pray, or I'll read a little here and there, but really giving God the time that I'm supposed to, I don't. And even with these videos, like it's like 2 o'clock in the morning right now, and the Spirit of Truth was telling me, you'll stay up for a hobby, or you'll stay up for, say, a show or something, a movie. But then, when it's time to do these videos, oh, you're tired, you'll get to it tomorrow. Priorities. What's really important to me, what's true. The first video, I was talking about the ice cream and cake. I've been enjoying ice cream and cake. Haven't been trying to lose the weight. Haven't been trying to work my spiritual man out. Not like I should. Not like I'm getting ready for the bout, So, trying to get back on it. But it does bring me to one thing that I wanted to talk about. A lot of times I'll talk to people, and people will talk about just being a good person, or trying to have good karma, or they might not say, I'll leave it to God. They'll say they'll let karma get to them. And these are people that say that they believe in the Bible. And I believe personally, if you believe in the Bible, karma could be karma. I don't know much about it, but what I do know is the Bible is real, and God doesn't operate off of karma. God operates off of seed time, seeds. And if you remember, even when He was handing out the curses you had Adam, Eve, and then the serpent got a curse. And part of the serpent's curse was the seed, which we learn later is Jesus the Christ. But even in chapter 8, verse 22, after the flood, He said, while the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Up to now, that hasn't ceased. God's not lying. He doesn't lie. A lot of times we don't understand things. We learn later. But He doesn't lie. So, the main difference to me, where people think just, what goes around comes around, that's not the case. What God gave Adam, placed him to be the steward over a garden, and He did the same to you and I. We have to be careful what is planted in that garden. If we go to Galatians 6, verse 7, be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So you're going to reap what you sow. But my God is merciful. You don't always get back exactly what you do. Because sometimes you could plant, if any of you have ever planted anything, some seeds don't flourish like others. So you might do something good and you might not see the huge tree that you want to come from that. But other times, the Word of God says, it is written, if you have the faith as a mustard seed, something small can become something great. On the other hand, you might be somebody that does right all the time, and then you do something bad, and that little acorn turn into a huge oak tree. Whereas somebody else, they're around here doing all this bad stuff, and you don't see their bad grow, but you see their good grow. Now, that's completely up to God. That's on Him, but it's also on us because we planted the seed. It was our action. It was our choice. So the question is, what types of things are you planting in your garden? What does your garden look like? Is it full of well-kept plants? Or is there a lot of weeds around choking out like some of the good things that you do? The word of the Lord also says, do not be weary in well-doing. Because it's going to come, the reward's going to come into season. And a lot of times things start going bad, or things are going, they don't come as fast as we think they should. And we see somebody else who we think is succeeding, and we say, hey, they could do this stuff, why can't I? So then you start going down the wrong path, planting bad seeds in your garden, when at the time you were planting orange trees that were actually producing oranges. But like I said, sometimes he'll be merciful. Sometimes it's just something you can't understand. You plant an orange tree, no fruit will come. But wait, it might not be season for that fruit to come. It might skip a season. And then all of a sudden, a matter of fact, I have a tree outside my house. I don't know what type of fruit it is, but last year it budded a little bit, but this year it's crazy. They're falling all over the place. They remind me of crab apples, but they're not quite that. But they're all over the place where it could be like a nuisance. You know, you go out there, you step in and getting it all over your shoes, bringing it in the house and things like that. So, yeah, sometimes it really may not seem like your garden is producing like it's supposed to. Sometimes that root might take a little bit longer on that good thing. Don't be weary in your well-doing. I'm going to leave you with this, and this will bring it full circle, because this also has to do with what I was talking about, my personal walk. Like, of course, these are things that I try to keep in mind, and I feel like if you were trying to do the same, you should try to keep them in mind too. And I would want to walk on a level with God to where it's apparent to anybody when I speak to them, oh, they know what I'm talking about. Anybody that's sick around me, lay hands on them and they're healed, or something like that. Prophetic words. No, I know some terms, you might not want to use, but just somebody that's going through something, I could tell them, hey, it's gonna work out. Matter of fact, tomorrow the change is coming. Hooray, like to have the good word for them. But that's not really up to me. It's really up to God if He was to let me know. Because the thing is, you can step off into pride real easy with stuff like that. So with me right now, and with everybody, focus on the relationship first, and then you'll know what you're supposed to do. Focus on the relationship first. Then you'll know what to do. You'll know your part. You'll know your part. But I hadn't been doing that. I was just kind of doing what seemed like to a part of myself where I could say, hey, you did it. But check this out. Matthew chapter 7, Verse 2, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged, and with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. So this is saying not only people out here who would see somebody going through a certain situation, instead of praying, saying, hey, I've been there before, I've hurt like them before, I've been angry like that before, I've lashed out and made irrational decisions like that before. They judge them and talk about what should happen to them and all of this nonsense. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're planting wrong seeds to your garden right there. You're supposed to say, God, I understand what that's like. I've been human like that before. Help that man out. Bring that person that could talk to them. Bring that thing, that activity, that whatever it is, that'll kind of bring them back and calm them down and bring them closer to the Lord. And that's what we should be praying for. The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. We're supposed to be laborers, but instead of being laborers, we automatically judge that pride stuff. We start judging it, acting like, oh, my level in God is better than your level in God, so they need to step their game up, or they're not doing this, so they'll never see this and that level. That's not what you're supposed to do, because that's not your job. That's not your job at all. The Lord of the harvest will bring forth the right fruit on their tree, the right fruit on their vine, and He'll do the same for you. So you need to be praying for that person's mind, for that person's mental. That's your job. Salt of the earth, light of the world, things like that. Yeah. So there's that. And then the last part, and with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. Like if I was to judge myself on this, with what measure I was given toward God, if He gave that back to me, I'd be very dissatisfied. I would be discouraged when I got my reward, like, hey, I did this and I did that. And He'd be like, yeah, but were you really trying? I know you. Is that as far as you could go? If it was something else, you would have pressed. People out here, they'll be trying to get somebody's attention of the opposite sex, or they'll press. People who do sports and things like that, they're trying to get to that next level, they're trying to win, oh, they'll press. But then when it comes to this, just because you can't see it, because you can't pick it up on your optical receptors, that's all they are. They're just receptors that pick up on different spectrums of light. And because it's not in your spectrum of light, you don't press. Easily distracted. We can't be like that if we want to see Him. We can't be like that if we're really trying to go to the next level. So my encouragement to you is to really watch out for your garden. Help other people with theirs as well. Not to get in their business, but if you know something, keep it to yourself. Instead of spreading it around, go talk to your good friend, the Spirit of Truth, about it. Go talk to Jesus about it. Find something in the Word that you can stand on to help that person. And if they know the Word, or if they're receptive of the Word at the time, because sometimes it's bad timing. It's always good timing, but sometimes it's bad timing to the person, So if they're willing to hear it at that time, give them the scripture that they can stand on, that they can meditate on. And if they're not willing to do that yet, you help them, you do it for them, and do the same for your situations. But do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Let that come back to you. Let that be a seed planted in your garden all the time. Well, it's Nathan.E.El, and this has been Sermons in Seconds, where we do ministry in minutes. I want to thank you all for listening. I hope you join me next time.